Alrighty, my friends, it is Monday, October the 27th, and we're going to branch out a little bit today. Alrighty, my darlings, we're going to take a break from the doom and the gloom because, darling, I also saw Steve from Blue's Clues and his version of Dirty Talk, and I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this, darling, because as someone deconstructed, right, or deconstructing, it's almost a never-ending process. Unmasking, almost a never-ending process. Corporate PTSD, all this stuff. But also as someone who has been decentering men, as a woman who was raised in the pick-me culture, who 20 years ago, if I had this kind of social media, I would absolutely be one of the women up here telling you how to keep your husband happy. I would have been one of those stay-at-home mom influencers telling you to service your man, that your purpose in life is to be beautiful and skinny and an incubator that just obeys what you're told, and you're going to be rewarded in the next life for it. Suffer, suffer, suffer. Side note, if you notice, that's why these people encourage suffering and love suffering and want everyone to suffer. You notice how it's built into their mind control faith. So anyway, but we're seeing more and more women talk about it, more men calling it out, and I want to normalize this because this is huge. We have been held back as a species by the patriarchy, by allowing the worst of the worst to copy themselves over the most, right? That movie Idiocracy. We're watching the least intellectual, the least mature, the least emotionally regulated men reproducing the most, and then perpetuating the same cycles, the same idiocy, the same abuses over and over and over again, to the point where here we are, we're being held hostage by a bunch of nincompoops, all right, that don't know how to stand up to a criminal. Because the culture is essentially a bunch of submissives and ucks. Okay, with a C in the beginning. All right, I'm trying to be careful. But that's it. That's it. The superior people are just submissives. They're just bottoms waiting for someone to tell them what to do. As long as the someone looks like this, they are eager to bend over, get on their knees, take it to the tonsils, baby. And so I want to normalize talking about it. I've made posts before talking about if they tell you, don't share what they did to you because that's airing your personal relationship business. Don't talk about how they treated you. Stop making content about that thing they did. We're not doing that anymore. Normalize sharing it because that's how they hide. That's how this has been normalized. That's how the abuses have been normalized. That's how the lying has been normalized. That's how blaming the women for their behavior has been normalized. And I mean, look at the Faith. They made a whole story, okay, blaming women in the beginning of time for all of their problems for being disobedient. Like that, that is what they had to do to try to get women to sit in a certain space and never want to grow out of that and to protect themselves. And what are they doing with that endless power? Okay, what are they doing? Diddling. Okay, cheating, being on the DL with other dudes left and right. Okay, I think y'all know I had an ex that came back for a rebound, and I realized in the process of this dude completely love bombing me before the ink was dry from his last wife that he forgot to tell me about, that I realized, oh, this dude he's smashing his roommate. And dudes at the anonymous meetings and dudes at the gym, because he needed to go to the gym 3-4 times a day and he wasn't getting any more muscle. He wasn't losing any weight. There wasn't any changing, but he needed to go multiple times a day. He needed late night sessions with his roommate. Okay, he might hang out with me and not be able to get it up. And then as soon as I leave, he goes and spends 2 hours with his roommate. And then it's like, oh, we had an intense conversation after you left. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Can we normalize exposing this shit and doing better for ourselves? Because ladies, let me tell you, there are men out there that have done the work. There are men out there who have understood the assignment, who have gone to therapy, who are working to evolve, who understand that the matriarchy is for everyone and the patriarchy is for one, who understand the balance of respecting and loving women without going, and I have to treat you like shit, because feminism, they exist. There are men that will respect you and open your doors and pay for things and all of that without making you feel like you owe them something because they're one of the good ones. You're not being thankful enough since I'm good. And we can talk about how good just means they're not putting their hands on you or not openly cheating. And that's the bar is in hell. They consider themselves nice guys if they don't plan on putting their hands on you. And that should be enough. You should be willing to accept that. That's already hands and you know, above anyone else out there. And we need to normalize no longer accepting crumbs and holding out for what's worth it. Okay, we're normalize. Can we know? I want to normalize this. I really want to normalize this. Because it's just, if you heard Steven on Blue's Clues with his little validation, dirty talk, and you're like, you know what? You're a good girl has gone out of the window. Please worship me. Validate me. Yes. Thank me. Yes, absolutely. I want that. Okay. No more coercing me to do something I didn't want to do anyway, and then telling me that I now need to beg for it when I didn't even want to be here right now. I'm doing this to shut you up so you leave me alone. And that'll be the dude who says he can take a no. All right. Just putting it out there. Speaking of this, can we talk about how the gym bro culture is for dudes? Okay. The corn stick culture is for dudes. This is all how the patriarchy still hurts other men, right? You've got these dudes telling other dudes that women just want tall six-pack. We don't care. We don't care. It's men telling other men that. And men in the gym competing with each other, looking at each other. Look, if you're a cut dude, how many women compliment it versus how many men? Right? Right? It's all dudes. It's all dudes complimenting your body, not us, because we don't care. Big swinging stick. Yes, I know there are women out there that are size queens, and they might honestly fully be that way, but I think it's just part of that patriarchy that's stuck in where they've been conditioned, because I used to be conditioned to think that way as well. Oh, yes, you need this. I'm a small woman. I am 5'1", okay? Like, how much do I really need? You know what I'm saying? And it took years for me to get to a point where I could tell someone who was proud of themselves for being on the corn squad, I don't want that. That's not going to work for me. It's painful. It's not comfortable. I don't like it. And honestly, I can't even use like 2/3 of it. So, I mean, I'm glad you're proud of it, but you know who has no problem taking all of that? Another dude. And this thing where we're supposed to enjoy the pain of it, right? If it's pain, there are men who they know it and they like that. They know it's uncomfortable. They know it's painful, and that's a plus for them. That does something for them. That bit of pain they're creating that you're dealing with anyway. Okay, can we get away from that? All right, I want to be woman-centered. I want it to be okay for me to say, no, I have a preference for this. And that's what works for me. And you can take your corn stick elsewhere. All right. I don't give two shits about your six-pack. If you want it, that's for you. Awesome. I do not care. All right. Just please don't be at the gym. If you're going to do it at home, please. I can't compete with all the dudes in the locker room. Okay. Because you know. And darling, I just want to say, if that's your dude who's going 3 times a day and not losing an ounce, welcome. Welcome to the beard club. All right. Been there. I've been there. Also, I want to share, right? Can we normalize men calling this stuff out as well? As you meet more and more green flag men, you want to hear stories of them calling out other men, of them fighting for what's right, of them standing up to the rest of the dudes. If you notice in this fight, you see women stepping up, women and enlightened men. The men who haven't been enlightened, the ones that are lonely, are the ones who aren't saying anything. They're standing to the side watching women and enlightened men step up and then calling all of us weak for not being a part of the mental chains anymore that they subscribe to because they can't get out of it. Darling, there are better options out there, and you just have to grab it and demand it. All right. Side note, I just also want to say there's a special place in hell for the women who weaponize children because they're unhappy, pretending that their ex was this abusive monster because the relationship didn't work out, and then they use the kids as a tool. When I've been through abuse, I've dealt with narcissists. And darling, when you've been with someone who was truly a monster, you don't divorce them and keep the name. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's normalize talking about it.